Wow.
Wow, this is some really deep stuff.
I don't know what just happened, but something happened inside of me. Something snapped, something sick.
I wasn't expecting that
either. Sorry.
It's okay. It's all right. It's beautiful.
Monster is like really small, but it had to become that to stop me.
And then the hurt child became present when you mentioned it.
And I didn't realize this until now.
There were things that I didn't remember until now.
Funny, I haven't seen that before.
It feels like I'm the monster. I'm kind of seeing images of things, of a world where they can exist. This clarity brings all kinds of answers.
It's clear. She hugged me and then went back to her place, I guess, in my heart. Oh, it wants to come out. It wants to bippity boppity boop Cinderella me. She's melted into my chest. It's ooey gooey.
All week been finishing things, cleaning up more, started eating vegetables again last week. And it kind of just started happening. It's almost like I just finished going through a meditation session.
I feel light. When you hit that first joint, in the morning, and
I actually feel a lot more awake.
I've been doing all right. Actually, not really last week. I'm doing better today. But I kind of after that last call. Well, I don't say it's just because of the call, but I think I talked about how I had this part that was talking about just walking away from depression, right? And
yes,
and I think it became pretty clear that that's not really gonna happen. Just in the way that part thinks that it might.
The part wants to just walk away from it, stop thinking about it, and you and it are realizing that that's not a sustainable or a realistic expectation.
Yeah, it's not. And I'm just trying to get a little understanding about the system, and what triggers something, and then another part kind of gains ascendancy, and kind of is more kind of taking more energy,
right?
And
okay.
Yeah, so I listened a little bit again to that first conversation I had with you, and that was really good. I couldn't listen to the whole thing, but I was just out doing something today, and I listened to the first part when I was telling you about this first IFS session I had. And what I thought about again was that part that was this teenage part on the couch, sort of felt this betrayal of having to leave playing soccer and just playing a band now.
Right.
You remember that? Okay.
I do.
Yeah. So I connected with that today, and that made me feel I felt more settled today, you know, like it was like last week, last Wednesday, something triggered, something triggered some emotional kind of upheaval, you know. I'll just leave it at that for now. And then the days that followed, it wasn't like um I was not super down, but I was I was I was finding that I was using a lot of like firefighter kind of stuff, you know, like I didn't really want to, I thought I was still believing that, you know, oh man, I can just outrun this, you know, and,
Right.
and, and what sucks about that is that, you know, I lose a connection with, just connection, whether it's with people, whether it was like students, whether it's just like an honest emotional connection. That's like the cost, you know?
Yeah, the
And
cost of running away from
yeah,
from the emotional upheaval, from
yeah, you know, and, oh, you know, I have these parts, there's, um, it kind of came to uh, it kind of came to a point last night. I was out with some friends, and a friend of mine, close friend, is getting married, and um, you know, just these parts that I have that are just very kind of. I guess it's like judgmental of myself, you know, like comparing myself to others. Um, and you know, these are the things I don't. These are the parts too that I don't. Uh, I don't know that they scare me, but I would just rather, you know, it's kind of like push them aside because they make me feel like I'm not a good person.
right when you're comparing yourself to
Yeah,
others.
yeah, I'm comparing myself to others, or I'm envious, you know, and
Yeah.
it's it's like difficult, um and I judge myself, and and um and so yeah, it was like, yeah, like I love my friends love me, and it's not like I couldn't talk to them, but um this wasn't the time for that. This was like we were hanging out and taking this one guy out, and um you know, so I just noticed all this background stuff, and it was kind of in relation to the 5 or so days before that, you know, and it was just like kind of, you know, kind of adding up, but at the same time, like it helped me move through that and understand a little bit, because I just kind of felt like, you know, this sucks, man. I've had enough, you know, like I get to that point where it's like I have to, it's like, what is it? It's like, it's just like the tension, like this tension of trying to control how I feel, and, and trying to be happy, and I'm not happy, you know. It's like I'm not happy, but there's like, I could be honest. And if I was honest, I would feel better. So, when I listened to that for a little while this morning, it's like I touched that. It was like a touchstone or something. Like I kind of, I felt, like I connected, to something real, like,
When you reconnected with the part that you had worked with.
when I heard myself telling the story about my IFS session, and the part that, I discovered in this first session that I ever had, which was this teenage part that I had felt this betrayal toward. And it just kind of like I don't know better way to say it, but just my energy and my heart just kind of settled. And really, like, I discovered at that moment, it was like, wow, I have not actually, like, that's what I do. That's like, I haven't really felt my heart. Like, and I like, that's really what I run from. And I understand in a way, because I have, there's pain there, there is.
There's pain when you're reconnecting with parts, and you're re-experiencing or remembering things, and you're having this heart connection that isn't always there, and there's pain. It's a bittersweet kind of thing, even though it feels good in connecting. The parts are, there's some grief there too, right?
It's grief, yeah. Like, I'm and then what I noticed too is that I'm afraid of this grief, and I'm afraid to show it, to that somebody would like see it, and so what happens, I even noticed that when, I listened to that, and then I felt this, and then I like, I had to go to this FedEx place, and I was, and I suddenly had the thought that, like I can't go in there like this, like, but like, I'm not crying, I'm not doing anything. I'm just like,
you just
like
have
normal
that energy.
I just feel something. I just feel it in my
grief.
And right. And I just feel it. And it's not the heaviest thing. It's not, it's not even like difficult. It just feels vulnerable.
Yes.
It just feels like, it just feels like there's a hole in my chest, and people can see inside of it a little bit. And it's not a huge hole, but it's like, it's like the like the mask is off in a way,
Yeah.
And so yeah. And
there's a part that has this fear of really connecting with yourself because of the grief that will come about. And that fear is about how others might see it, how hard it is to conceal if you're out and about. Yeah. So I mean, I feel like you've listed a handful of parts, and we can go to any of them.
Okay.
We could talk to that part that's afraid of the grief.
Okay. Yeah, that seems like the most, because I'm curious about it, and in such a way that that's probably what I'm most curious to understand,
Great.
Yeah.
Okay.
And any other any other parts that have to do with distracting me from dealing with that.
Right. Other parts that are wanting to control how you feel.
Yeah.
Okay. How do you notice that fear of the grief in your body when it comes up?
It's like, it's like a slight, my shoulders are a little bit tense. My breathing is very shallow and high in my chest. I'm just kind of, there's a bit of a frozen feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. You just let it know that you're feeling all that you see that.
Uh-huh.
Let it know that you're curious about it. And ask it what it wants you to know.
I feel like this low grade, like anger, almost like a bit of a seething kind of anger, just kind of like, don't fuck with me kind of thing.
Okay. Does that feel like it's coming from the same part that's afraid of the grief or somewhere else?
It does feel like the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we can leave this part alone if that's really what it wants. You can just
Yeah. I don't know.
just let it know that you're curious.
Okay.
Just stay with curious. Let it know that we're not trying to make it go away. We're not trying to make it go away. We're not trying to change it unless it has an idea about how it wants to change. That you just want to learn about it. And that nothing that you say has to be shared publicly. Nothing that this part tells you has to be shared with me.
Yeah. Yeah. See this house I used to live in when I was in school. And I just see the room. I see that place. It was kind of a difficult time. Very kind of yeah, it was a lot of fear. I would say lot of fear came up at that time.
Okay. I just want to make sure that, we have a part that said, don't fuck with me. And I want to make sure that we're not just leaping right over it. So, is it showing you these things? Is it feeling more open to sharing with you? Did we bypass it entirely? Like, where are you able to see kind of where that memory of that house is coming from? And if this part is okay, this part that was saying, don't fuck with me.
Yeah, I mean, that may or may not have anything to do with it.
Okay.
I feel like I've just lost kind of connection, like I don't really feel, let me try to go back to.
Yeah, that's what I was going to suggest, is just, and find out what that's about. And if it's because the part says don't fuck with me and you're saying, okay, bye, that's fine. I just want to make sure that we're doing that intentionally.
Okay. Yeah, I got a little bit of like my own agenda part, like the part that really wants to get things going. And so I just want to kind of put that into words and to ask that part to, just relax. And that's not what this is about. Yeah, I do want to heal, but it's on the terms of some of these parts that are, I want to get to know this part that
it is on their terms.
Right. Yes.
I mean, that you already sense that connecting with certain parts, which will involve grief, is part of your healing, and that you have parts that are scared of that. And so, yeah, it's on their terms. We can't bypass them.
Okay.
So you could let that part know, the one that is scared or the one that has some anger, just let it know that it's okay.
Yeah.
For it to be that way. It's okay for it to share with you.
Yeah.
And that you don't want to push past it.
Right. Yeah, I'm working with myself, and it's in order to like let I need to understand that more for myself to be able to convey that, and if you know what I mean. And I am understanding that more.
You need to be able to convey to this part that it's okay for it to share with you, and
like I'm just thinking to myself that okay, what would it be like if this part just never wants to let me go past it? Okay, fine, I want to know this part. Like that's not just. I do know this part. I do know this part.
Just let it know you're curious. And I'm being quiet, but I have lots of questions that I could throw out if you think that would help kind of help it speak with you.
It doesn't, maybe it doesn't trust me so much yet.
Okay.
Doesn't trust that I, and maybe, like I said, like maybe it's me. Maybe I don't quite have the level of curiosity. I don't know. Maybe
okay, we can find out.
Do you have a question?
Well, so there's the question to you of how do you feel towards this part?
Yeah.
And if you're feeling afraid of it, or if you're feeling we need to get past it or something, then that might be an indicator that.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what I like. Mm-hmm. I feel a little uneasy with it, with that part, like I'm a little bit afraid of, like there's moments in this past few minutes that I kind of step, I'm like, overcome my, squeamishness, I guess it is, but then I kind of fall back and I'm sort of waiting and
yeah. This is great. You've recognized that.
Yeah.
So this is another part that you can welcome.
Okay.
So we're going to kind of take a step back, and now this is a part that doesn't want you to go to that part, right? So we're going to step back from it.
Yeah.
Let it know that it's welcome.
Right.
There's a part that feels uneasy about even getting to know this protector. And it's okay. It's okay for it to feel that way. It has a good reason to feel that way. They all do.
Okay. Yeah.
So maybe you can ask it about its concern.
Yeah. Well, this the one that's afraid of the other is like a smaller. Is smaller is he's he kind of he doesn't have the firepower that
right. Right.
Yeah. It's
okay. See if you can get him to notice you.
Yeah.
See if you can get him to notice you there. Being curious about him. You could ask how old he thinks you are.
Yeah. Yeah, he's kind of clinging, he's like very like
Is he aware of you and your presence?
I think so.
Okay. Just let him know that his firepower is not needed.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It's appreciated. It's there for a reason. But that you are able to go to parts without fighting them. Just see if he buys any of that,
Mm-hmm.
or how he feels about that.
Yeah, I think making room for him is like, it's like there's more space, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's so. Okay, well, let me try to go back.
Okay, if this one feels like it's giving you that permission,
I think so.
giving you that space.
Yeah, I mean, this other one is just like, yeah, I'm very less. I'm not really afraid. It's just, you know, yeah, he's just he's just like what do you say? Like, I don't know. Like, what do you say? Like, he's used to showing that he's showing teeth. You know, like kind of.
Yeah, that seething anger.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and it works. It works for him.
Yeah, ask him more about that. What does it work for? What does it accomplish?
It protects. It protects.
Mm-hmm.
It gets things done.
Yeah. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Let him know that.
I mean, he looks just like my brother. You know, I mean,
Okay.
maybe it's a part of me that looks just like my brother. I guess I don't know.
Sure. I got one of those.
Yeah. Okay. No.
Yeah. So ask him what he's afraid would happen if he didn't work so hard. If he didn't work in that way.
Everything would fall apart. You know,
Mm-hmm.
pretty much.
And can he show you like what that means? What does it look like for everything to
You
fall
just be
apart?
weak. You just you be succumb to weakness. That's what I
Mm-hmm.
that's what I get. You just
Yeah.
become a little weakling.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's the feeling he wants to protect you from.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just let him know you see that and you appreciate that.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that the idea of grieving also connects kind of to this weakness. It
Mm-hmm.
feels like that's part of the weakness.
Yeah.
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 Just
Just
let
and
him
I
know.
feel I'm feeling like overwhelmed with like maybe I'm blended with them now because I just feel like kind of breathe a little bit.
Okay. You can always step back. Ask parts to not overwhelm you. Let them know that.
It's just as there's just like this sense of violence,
Okay.
Like not brutal, not brutality, but just just like getting to be hit or or hit, so I just.
Okay. And how are you feeling about the overwhelm right now? Are you okay with the way he's showing you this? Maybe you can ask him to. Yeah. Maybe just ask him not to overwhelm you.
Yeah.
Tell him you're curious, but that this is heavy stuff, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot going on in there. There's a lot of parts. And it sounds like there's painful memories and feelings of feeling small, feelings of being weak, being hit, memories of that. So just let him know that you'd like to understand more about that, but that it needs to be in a way that it doesn't overwhelm you. See if he's okay with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to just expand myself a little bit to be able to. I think it just caught me by surprise,
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just trying to kind of expand a little bit, and I'm feeling better now.
But you can let him know that you see all that scary, painful stuff or maybe you don't see it all now, but you see the potential of it, and it's part of the way that you're understanding how important his job has been.
Yeah.
Right. And putting a lid on that and pushing against that.
Yeah, like I'm like right now, like I'm not, judging him for these tactics, these ways of, because I just want to understand where he's coming from.
How does he feel about all this? How does he feel about the way that you're being with him in a non-judgmental way, kind of negotiating this conversation with him?
I don't know that he's that impressed yet. I mean,
but does he appreciate that you're listening? Does he like the attention at all, or are we still fucking with somebody who doesn't want to be fucked with?
Yeah, I think it's. I mean, maybe it just there's just more time here. I think he feels like I'm gonna peel out any second. Like this is just a charade,
Right. And has he ever experienced that? Has he ever experienced you touching in and then ghosting and kind of leaving him like that?
I wonder. Huh.
If so, you can let him know that you see that and that you're sorry about that. That's not. You can see how that would be hard.
Yeah, he's pretty sure that he's taking care of business, and I'm really not.
Right. And that's been his experience.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
And were you able to show him appreciation for that? Did he receive any of that from you?
I mean, I'm standing, like I'm, I don't know.
It's okay.
I don't know how this is going.
Okay. Well, I want to apologize if I've been kind of pushy or taking us in the wrong direction at all.
No. I think that's been helpful, and maybe I feel like if you hadn't, then I might lose connection at some points.
Okay.
But I'm not sure what he really stands for. Maybe if he wants to tell me, that'd be great. But if he wants me to leave and, we'll just keep things this way, I mean, what can I say? But
I could say what I think he stands for, judging from what I've heard, and we could run that by him.
I mean, maybe
I don't know if that would be useful, but because I think that he's shared a lot of valuable insight information already.
Mm-hmm. What did you hear?
Well, I heard that he has that he's strong, that he looks like your brother, that he's mm-hmm. got the gnashing teeth going on, mm-hmm. and that if he didn't do that, if he didn't work hard in that way, in that kind of angry way, that everything would fall apart, and that there would be a feeling of being weak, that's exposed, that's too vulnerable.
Yeah.
And that he also has things maybe about that weak part, memories of being hit, that he doesn't want to re-experience. He doesn't want. Those are painful memories, and that the idea of going to those parts, of grieving with these parts, that all of that sounds like outside of his comfort zone, because that's not how he has dealt with things. He doesn't have trust in you staying in that. He thinks that this could be a charade. He thinks that you might just back out. And so he's got a job to do. And he's shown you what that is.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me see. That's right. That's right.
Okay. Is that right? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, for the most part, I did see this scene from that house again, that I lived in, when I was in school. And I mean, I don't know. That's the only image I've really gotten.
Mm-hmm.
And I got it twice. So maybe he wants to, maybe there's something there he wants to show me. I don't know. I mean,
check with him. When you said that's right, when I listed those things, I said, was he saying that's right? I mean, is that, was I?
No.
Okay. Yeah. I'd like to check that out with him. If what I was catching resonates at all with what he was sharing. Just before we move on to the image, to the house thing.
I get the feeling he's not impressed with this operation, and we don't really get what his job is about. And
can Can he give me a score on how well I understood what he was saying? Did I get a 3 out of 10, 6 out of 10?
Yeah, I did hear it, like 3.
Okay.
Out of 3. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I appreciate that.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So yeah, maybe.
Yeah. You know, I think it's still just coming from me that, you know, I just can't wait to get the healing done, you know, and so that's a real stumbling block, you know, actually.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, it's like these little moments that I see. I get hope. You know, I have these downs, and then I have these moments of hope, and then I get really enthusiastic again. And
in the healing process.
Yeah. And so, like, for that part, that's like, you know, he's okay. I get it. He's realistic. He's you know, I get another sense that he's another, like, one that, like, might live in the woods or something.
And which one is this? Which one is realistic? It might live in the woods. The angry one or the wants to heal? Okay, yeah.
Angry one, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
okay, should we talk to this one that has this wants to heal?
Yeah, let's just do that.
Okay.
Let's just do that. Because
I just want to thank that last part for sharing what it did, and I apologize for only being a 3. Next time I'm gonna shoot for a 4 or 5 or more. So, but I appreciate his patience, and you know, he did say don't fuck with me, and I think that he was really patient, and I appreciate it.
I think he appreciates hearing that, and he seems more settled now that we're. Yeah, he seems more settled. Yeah, and I feel that the distance I have from him now, I see him a little more clearly, and we're gonna leave him alone for a minute while
Great.
So.
Okay, part that wants to get the healing done.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What's that feel like? How does it show up?
It's a different kind of anxiousness. It's another sense of shallow breathing, different breathing, hopeful, and yet what is it? It's not afraid, but like the expectation of like expecting something good, but not actually sure if you'll really ever get that.
Right.
really not really clear about what that is, but just really longing for like completion and understanding. Just like all things aside, just please, let me just understand my life.
Yeah.
And
okay. I'm curious to ask this part, if the understanding of parts, which I'll say that's IFS,
mm-hmm.
is the understanding of parts, will that provide what this part wants? Will that feed that longing? Will that get you to the understanding your life that this part is looking for? You can ask it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Basically asking what it thinks about this process.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a piece, it's a piece. It's a piece of the puzzle. It's a piece of the overall. And like what I get is that like I think this part has not has seen healing as something different, something. No, it sees. No, this part's afraid of it's afraid of the grief. It's afraid of all these different parts,
Okay.
It's a little confused, maybe.
Okay. And how does it like having this attention that you're giving it?
It doesn't really like this attention.
Okay. We can close the door on this one too if it would prefer. Or back out of the room. I don't.
Something.
It's okay. None of these parts owe me any explanation or anything like that. And
maybe there's another part that is, really trying to control the healing process or the process in general,
Yeah.
And without control is very anxious.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
So maybe healing means having control, and that's where the healing to that part means having control.
I totally get that.
Yeah.
I have that part come up in probably every conversation I'm in.
Okay.
Because I'm worried about how much control I need to exert on the direction, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want to see the healing and have this responsibility to get the process right.
Yeah. So, and you want to, I think maybe this is the same part that thinks about, well, if I invest my time in this, what am I going to get after so long? And I don't know. It's just there's not much spirit of discovery, it's like it's when I was in that first call that I had with you, and then I told you about that, that very first call that I had with somebody,
right?
Like that was so unexpected, because it's like I didn't know anything. I didn't know anything about the process, except that, I could pay attention to myself, like my inner experience. And this practitioner like guided me in such a way. And, I had this like discovery.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's like, so there's kind of like this, maybe this is what's happening. Like maybe, it's like, I want to have I want to have these experiences. I want to have these peak experiences.
Yeah.
With, and I guess there's nothing wrong with that, but to distinguish that there's parts that are trying to control that. They're trying to angle to make something happen.
Yeah. And I appreciate those parts.
Yeah.
I mean, there is such a thing as just wandering aimlessly in our inner worlds, right? And not connecting and not healing.
Yeah. But is it, and it's like, and then it's like, I just start to feel like, man, how many friggin' parts are there, man?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, like, all right, I want to go back to this other part. I'm going to see if I could just have the right distance for, because I'm done with the, what?
Are you done, or is a part saying, all right, get on with it? Is a part saying, here we are again. We need to be doing the healing, right? Like, and you tell me, is this self saying, it's okay, part, I see that you feel better now that I've given you my attention, and now I can go give my attention to another part? Or are you being pushed and pulled?
Yeah, I'm probably being pushed and pulled. I definitely don't feel, like centered or anything.
Yeah.
I
get that.
And I just feel like, oh, I'm wasting time, man. I'm wasting time. And, I'm wasting time, and I need to get something done. And I think we touched on that part last week. You know, it was like
we did. We're also learning about how strong these parts are that want to get it done and want to get into what they call the healing.
Yeah.
And just like we talked about last time we talked, where we started really appreciating the beauty of protectors, these agenda parts are protectors too. They want to safeguard the process. They want to make sure you're not wasting your time. They want to make sure I'm not wasting your time, you're not wasting my time, right? They want, just like all protectors, they want you to feel better, and they have an idea about how to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're valuable. They're just as valuable as any other part. And by understanding how they're influencing you, and this is what we do with every part, we understand how they speak to us, what they need, and by doing that with each of them, it helps the whole process. So getting to know these parts, understanding again that influence, will help in getting to know every other part. And that's kind of one of the beautiful things about this work, is that I think everybody has that question when they get this deep and they're saying, "Oh God, how many parts are there? I'm lost. How long is this going to take?" And the good news is that as you come to know each one, it gets more and more efficient with the next one. And so that's why I'm saying, hey, let's not move on from these parts, because having that connection and depth and understanding with one protector will make it easier to get to know the next one, and easier to get to heal and get to know exiles. So them pushing you along to get there faster is actually going to slow you down. So you can just let them know that, and at least that's my understanding and my experience of this process.
Yeah.
And that we do need to get to know each part, and we can start with whatever one's present. There's no gain in having, a really strong, we got to go to this one. I mean, it's nice to have some direction, but and to be able to listen to what parts need our attention. But it's kind of working in an opposite effect when they push and pull like that.
Okay. Yeah, I get that now. Now I feel okay. Now I'm like a little bit more back to myself, and as you were talking, because I understand that. Yeah.
I have a question just from something you mentioned earlier. There's an agenda part, or a part that says, like, is this is a piece of the healing. This process of getting to know parts is a piece of the healing. And I'm curious what other pieces there are, or like how much of a piece is this work? Is this 90% of it? Is this 20% of it? Like, what do these parts think about this process? Is there something missing that we could add? Is there, I'd like to kind of just understand their understanding of it.
Yeah. Let me check in with that.
Okay.
Well, I'm getting like 50%, but the thing is like, I'm not, it's not that, what I kind of hear is, they do like the process, that the way that the attention is really given, to each one, and maybe the 50 is just, I don't know, just a reluctance to put their eggs in one basket.
Yeah. I was kind of thinking about the 50% as being, well, we have two worlds, the inner world and the outer world, that we need to understand.
Yeah.
And 50% of it is the inner world. And
yeah,
I'm framing it in my optimistic way. IFS can handle 100% of that 50%.
right.
But then again, I'm pretty biased. For me, this is 100% of that world.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I don't know that they know, but no. I mean, I have my meditation practice, you know, and that works. You know, that works for me. That gives me a lot of energy, if you want to call it that. So
yeah, there's tons of modalities, there's tons of ways to get understanding. So I appreciate having, keep being able to be open to all of those. And I'm also, again, I'm open to modifying what we do in any way that would be helpful for you for these parts.
Okay.
Should we do more meditation? Should we do 15-minute calls instead of an hour? Should we, like what, just anything that they can think of, that you can think of, that would, make it more tailored to you and your system. I'm open to at least discussing.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly appreciate you putting that forward. I mean, yeah, I don't know, like if it was a really short call, like 15 minutes, like I'm not sure, like what.
I was just thinking about different things to modify.
Yeah. Okay, well, I appreciate that. There's options, there's a way that you're open to ideas that might suit this situation. I don't get anything except just that it, there is a appreciation for, I don't know, I guess the interest, the interest in my system, and the acknowledgement.
Yeah. Another thing that we haven't really tried is what is called direct access, where I can talk to these parts, if any of them feel like, if self is kind of hiding and they have something they want to say and they trust me to say it to me, they can do that too. So that's another modification that we can try.
Yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah.
There's some examples of me doing it in calls. We kind of, I think we had one foot in that realm today in this call.
Yeah.
Where I'm listening to the part, I'm appreciating the part, I'm trying to develop a relationship with it. And that can work too. So yeah, I just want to let you and all your parts know that I think that you're doing a great job. I think that it is tough, and it's also kind of a necessary step, is being in this place where you're having that feeling of, oh shit, there's a lot of parts. And how do I navigate even which one to talk to?
Right.
We got to figure that out. And all your parts have their opinions on that. And so we can't skip that step.
Yeah. Yeah, because that was an intense like moment like a while back. You know, it was like, you know, somebody somebody like kind of won the battle. Actually, you know, it was like, okay, we're going back, we're going back.
Right.
You know, you know, and you know, but now I kind of see like, you know, that's how I make decisions sometimes. You know, in life. You know, it's like if some part will just come up and I'm not settled, and it's like, oh, okay, just spent $250 on blah blah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so you know, yeah, this was good. This was informative. This was helpful, and yeah, yeah, and I feel like those agenda parts are satisfied, um, like they feel acknowledged, and
Mm-hmm.
because I don't think, you know, and I think it was coming from you because it wasn't coming from me. Like I'm
Yeah.
I think what I learned from the call, and not that don't know this, but it's like, oh, you know, it's like there's I'm partial, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I've been partial, and you know, I think like one of the things like real healing is like a certain level of impartiality, you know, towards all these parts,
Mm.
and 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 you know, like that's like, I don't know, it's how I would picture like a righteous like king or something, you know,
Mm.
like so just like a righteous person would be
Right.
would be very like if it was a classroom or something, it's like the smart kids, the the messy kids, the blah blah
Mm-hmm.
blah. It's like no, we're everybody is everybody's valued, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
so that's
It's an interesting choice of words, impartial,
yeah,
because we've also talked about your goals and what self looks like, and
uh-huh,
you know when we're talking like that, we're talking about love and connection,
yeah,
and um, I get the having that equanimity or that feeling that they're all welcome. I like that,
yeah, yeah,
but when you said impartial, to me that kind of sounds kind of cold.
uh-huh,
And what I get excited about and what I see as doing IFS is falling in love with each of these parts and
yeah. I mean, like unconditional
cherishing
love.
them. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. 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 Maybe.
I guess I
Yeah.
was when I see the impartial king image, to me that has kind of a coldness
Okay.
about it.
Okay.
But
All right.
but that could just be my own. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, no, it's true. It's like, I mean, there is some healing in terms of that too. You know, I feel like, you know, and I said it at the beginning of the call. It's like you know, it's like I have this, uh, and I know it's like, okay, appreciating that as a part. You know, I have this. It's sometimes it's hard to talk this way, you know, because it's
Mm-hmm.
you know, but because I say, well, you know, I have this way of dissociating from my feelings and
Mm-hmm.
kind of I don't like that word. Uh just like, I guess that's what it is, but I don't feel my heart. I don't it's not that I'm it's not that I'm it's not that I'm cold. I'm lost. I feel lost, and I don't know where I
Right.
went, and then something happens, and it's like, oh, like then I found myself again, but something knocked me off course, and it's like, what do I need? More sticky notes or something, or
Yeah.
it's like,
And so I can see why there's so much concern about the process, right? If you have this experience, this history of feeling lost in the work, then getting the process right does matter. And I hope that I can provide some guidance in that. I don't have tons of experience, but I've been doing it a couple years. I do these calls pretty much every day, and I have a pretty good feeling about the process. So I guess I want those parts to know that there is always going to be some don't know what to do next feeling, but this process is we're not just making it up. It's it's been in use for decades. It's just so awesome in the way that it works. And that
I know.
Yeah, that they hopefully can come to trust that good things will come from our conversations, because this process will work. And if it doesn't, hey, no hard feelings.
No, and like I said, I mean, you said some things that relax these parts more than I have been able to. So but I have taken to heart that, oh yes, okay, befriending all of these parts. It's like these agenda, like feeling guilty about, you know what I mean? It's like getting in the way, it gets in the way to feel guilty about, or feel like, I hate that part, man. It's like, why is
Right.
that, like,
Those
it's
are
in
all
my way, man.
those are all parts getting in the way of parts. They all have their way of doing it, that they have been doing it. And each one of them can have that same experience, just like you had in that first call. Each one of them can have that experience of you connecting with them, and suddenly they all, not suddenly necessarily, but they all start turning towards you as the leader. They all start orienting towards you and realizing that, wait, every time this self shows up, it's okay. And they all can start to relax.
Right.
But all those feelings of guilt, of being lost, the memories from the past, the gritting the teeth, the afraid of grief, all of those are parts that are kind of layered on top of each other, and they have this familiar dynamic. And that's something that you can kind of penetrate and start to untangle by getting to know them one at a time. And again, they'll start trusting you to do that more and more.
Okay. So when I hear this thought, but how long will it take? That's just another part that's concerned about, really yearning for some.
It's another valuable
help.
part. It's another valuable part.
Yeah. Okay.
And as you show it what you're capable of when you're coming from self energy, it will more and more come to trust that. And you can do the work without this part screaming at you to do it a different way or do it faster.
Okay.
Or however it shows up.
Right. Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right.
Appreciate you. Appreciate all these parts, all their patience and showing up and making themselves known, sharing what they share.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Thanks so much. And yeah, I appreciate you working with me and
Back at you. Hope we can do it again sometime. I'll send you some more links.
Okay. Thanks, James.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too. Bye.
Okay, bye. Do you want to help bring more self-energy to the world? If you'd like to participate in calls or help out with this project in any way, I'd love to hear your ideas. Join the Discord server or contact me at james@liveifs.com. A huge thanks to our audio engineer, Yvonne, for your care and diligence in editing the calls. To every caller for your courage in sharing some of your parts. And to anyone out there getting to know their internal system, keep going. Who knows? That might be the most selfless, helpful thing you can do for others, and you're the only one who can do it. If you'd like to see us reach the largest audience, we must please the almighty suggestion algorithms at iTunes and YouTube. And they don't care about the power of IFS. They're looking for likes and shares and comments, and the sooner the better. Follow the links in the show notes right here in your podcast player to make your wishes known. And now, a minute of meditation. Or if you prefer, pull over. You can do it in 60 seconds. Just click one of those links. They're right there, and give us a like or a 5-star rating. It would really help. If you think this project is helping people, you're helping people by sharing it. Thank you.